2 weeks. It hasn't even been 2 weeks, and yet Lorcana is already a disaster. Not only do we have major scam issues, but Walmart just also hosed Lorcana in a big way. The game's crash has already started.
This is the intro for the Hatcher show. He didn't want to do nothing, so he's standing there.
Hello, my friends! Welcome to my video on the disastrous state of Lorcana. Now, if you don't know what's going on, Lorcana is a brand new TCG that just released, as I said, within the last 2 weeks. It came out on the 18th. The idea behind the release strategy is a pretty solid one. What they did was they looked at the situation and said, okay, we want to move into game stores first, right? We basically want to build some grassroots support. And from what I've seen, it's been working pretty well. Lorcana basically kicked in the door for the first couple days going, yo baby, I'm here. And it does harness some amazing nostalgia. I did a Lorcana box opening going through a ton of cards. I'll leave a link to that at the end of this video if you want to see what's in one of those boxes or hear my thoughts on the cards, but it really does deliver that fun, delicious Disney flavor in a way that surprised me. I found the game to be a little more endearing at first. The idea behind the gameplay also is super simple and super easy for people to glide into. I've already been down to the game shop and watched people play in person, and setting it up to have people play in person was a very smart move, right? If you just go, we're gonna blamp this out everywhere, but nobody has anybody to play, there's no little groundswell of interest. We've seen it in stages, right? They did a little bit of teasers at the beginning where they showed us that awesome sheer version of Mickey where he basically goes up the beanstalk and goes, get some giants. I love that old school action. So that got my attention originally, and I was like, I'd like to see what this is. The game comes out, you take a look at it and go, okay, so the idea behind it is it's similar to Magic the Gathering. They've stolen Magic's They've borrowed Magic's 5 different colors and basically taken a bunch of their mechanics as well, which makes sense. Magic the Gathering is the best card game on earth, hands down. There's no competition. So stealing their mechanics is a wise move. So from that regard, the game seems like it's got some nice potential. It also has the potential to bring in people who aren't interested in the same competitive aspect of Magic. Like Magic is super competitive and we're gonna go at each other. We're trying to destroy each other. Where the idea behind Lorcana is, hey, we're trying to basically gain lore and knowledge. And once I get to 20 points of lore, which basically Magic you go from 20 to 0, Lorcana you go from 0 to 20, but you don't really interact that much with your opponent. Yes, you can kind of muck about with their creatures, but you can't even do anything during your opponent's turn. So it's like, my turn, your turn. It's like the hand-holding happy clap version of Magic the Gathering. So from that standpoint, it seems like, yo, things are gonna go well. What's the problem here? Well, let's talk first of all about how Walmart hosed everything, and that's leading to the great Lorcana crash, which I did predict, by the way. I did that in the live stream in the last 2 weeks. It's somewhere here on this channel if you want to check it out. Maybe I'll link it at the end. But either way, I predicted this was going to happen. But it's happening ahead of schedule because Walmart, they don't care, right? They're a gigantic company that genuinely is like, meh, what are you going to do? You need us, we don't need you. So here's how it was supposed to go. Game stores were supposed to get a 2-week head start. And then the big box stores would get their stuff and it would flood the shelves. Now, as an added problem here, I didn't even think to mention this before, game stores got their allocations of this stuff cut. So they couldn't get enough of this out to the game stores, which caused a choke point. Actually, if you go into game stores, depending on where you go, they'll either be sold out of Lorcana or there'll be a little sign taped to the box saying, yo, limited 3 packs, limited 4 packs up until September when we get more of our supply. And there were some people who had pre-orders where it's like, I'm only gonna sell you 1 box. I know you pre-ordered 3, I'm selling you 1. The other 2 you can get when the release happens. So the LGSs that were supposed to get this front runner status were only partially given that front runner status because they wanted to make sure that enough boxes were gonna make it to the big box stores. And they didn't time it in a way where those boxes would show up like closer to the release date. So guess what happened? Walmart already put them out on the shelves multiple days in advance, somewhere up to almost a week in advance. They're now on the shelves in Walmart, which undercuts every game store that had this stuff. You want to come and get it? No, I'm just going to head on down to the Walmart and buy a ton of this stuff. And this is also what opens up the floodgates for scamitude. And I have to admit, it's funny to me that I didn't see how obvious it is to be able to scam with Lorcana boxes. When I had the Lorcana box on the stream, I actually flipped it over. It doesn't have plastic wrap on it. So for example, like Magic boxes have Wizards logos all over the boxes, anti-counterfeiting, right? But the bundles just have these rip pull tabs. Well, that's what they have going on the Lorcana box. So I flipped the box over, took a little blade and worked it under the seal, and you can indeed lift the seal without tearing it. But at the same time, you might do some damage, so it's kind of up in the air. How easy will it be to reseal these? Because resealing is a huge problem in card games. The more valuable that these cards become, the more skeezy people get, right? People go into Walmarts and they will buy product, they will take it home, open it up, reseal it, and take it back to the store. And Walmart doesn't ask any questions. They'll take anything back. If you didn't know, as long as the box is closed, they don't ask any questions. But if the box is open, the employee can actually dig around in them. That happened to me once with a popcorn maker. I bought a popcorn maker. It was this red and white rectangular popcorn maker. And when I got home and opened it, somebody had taken a cheaper popcorn maker and put it in that box, right? So I got like, that's the same kind of scam. I went back with the box open and the lady looked at it and said, "What's wrong with it?" I'm like, "Look at the box. It doesn't even match the box. How can you even ask me this?" From that point on, I was like, okay, just close the box. Always do closed returns because the employees don't ask. So, because they don't ask, if you bring back sealed Magic, sealed Pokemon, or whatever, they just take it back and give your money back. And then somebody else buys it and gets a bag of marbles that you've put in there because people have done that. Or just a bunch of, some people shove Magic cards back in there, a bunch of basic lands, or just take the good stuff out. The craftiest resealers actually take out the good rares and put junk rares in to give you the smallest chance of being able to notice. Wizards has actually changed how they seal their booster packs at the top. Sometimes you'll notice it looks like scuzzy glue, and that used to make me think, yo, are these reseals? But that's Wizards just making sure that even on the booster packs, they're not easy to reseal. Now, Lorcana has no such protections on the booster packs, but that's not the issue. The issue is this. Forget everything I said about the seal on the bottom. You can just slide packs out the side of the box. You can literally just slide your hand in the side of the booster box and just pull packs out. It will not damage the box. It will not make the box look any different. And you can just slide it back full of garbage and return it with no problems, right? And so this means that any box you buy from anything but a reputable seller is rife with the opportunity for you to get hosed. So with this one, I can't think of any game that I have seen launch with a more lax security in terms of their product. It's kind of astounding, really, to the point where, like I said, I didn't even conceive of it as a possibility. And I'm sitting there flipping, okay, what if we do this? And you re-glue it and whatever. And it's like, what if I just do this, bro? Apparently, you can literally just grab the box and shake it and booster packs will fall out. Now, I haven't tested that theory because I was given one box by the game store to open in advance. I already returned it to them. And by the way, if you're into Lorcana, I cracked one of the epic mega enchanto rares, like the super, super hard to get rares in that Lorcana opening. So you can go and check. You know what? I will put it up at the end of the video for you here. So ultimately, Lorcana has multiple problems going on all at the same time. You have the supply being pushed out in a massive wave, which is going to crash the market. Singles prices are going to crash, but those were hype prices, so that is to be expected. It's built into the system. But that's going to be accelerated by the number of scams that are going on. And if you think that's not going to be the case, there are already people out there raging over Lorcana. There were so many scalpers who wanted to buy this and then flip it. Like, I want to buy this from you for $210 from the store, and then I want to flip it on eBay for $350. And they're doing that like clockwork to the point where stores are going, here's the deal. If you buy this box for $210 from me, we pull the tab so you can't resell it online. Or you pay this inflated price online because that's what you're going to do. And so the people who really wanted this stuff are like, cool, pull the tab. I don't care. I'm going to open these packs at home. Who cares? It makes no difference to me. But you've got these waves of people like, I can't believe you're doing this to me, because they literally plan to flip it. And not everybody who's a flipper is lacking in like the morals that it would take to skis the box and the actual packs as well. But there are a ton of people who will do that. So I wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of the Lorcana scamitude. And it's interesting. I mean, I've been in card games for 30 years, right? Like, I've watched them come and go. I've watched a bunch of them snap into existence, snap out of existence without anybody ever playing them. But Disney is a big name getting into the big card game. So it's definitely worth paying attention to and talking about. Those are all my thoughts for now. Thanks for coming by. I'll be doing a live stream here later tonight if you want to come and chill. Otherwise, go enjoy some other glorious content on this channel, and I'll see you next time.